Hi there, I'm Igor Ledochowski, the co-founder of the Hypnosis Training Academy and author of the world's best-selling trainings on conversational hypnosis. I believe that anyone who wants to be a force for good in the world through the power of hypnosis should have the opportunity to do so, which is why I've made the classical foundational conversational hypnosis professional hypnotherapy program available for you for free right here. So, if you want to become a better communicator and use hypnosis to uplift people around you, inspire them, and enhance the lives of those who you care about during normal everyday conversations, then this training is for you. Enjoy.
So, do you feel like you're doing something worthwhile so far? Learning some good stuff? Doing some kind of good work? Let's deal with something which we mentioned a little bit before, and you guys are failing me now. No one asked me about this, and I was thinking about it all along. What happened to your mind reading skills? Actually, we already have something up for it. Ha! Abreactions. Anyone ever witnessed an abreaction? Be proud of it. Loud and proud. They are colorful, to say the least. Has anyone ever seen a film including mad people bouncing against walls and shouting a lot and frothing at the mouth and trying to bite people? Well, that's roughly what an abreaction looks like. And you're about to see another one. How am I doing? Great. Okay. It's kind of comfortable, really. I like that. So, an abreaction is basically a strong emotional release or release of emotional energy, typically negative energy. You'll see crying, you'll see shouting, you sometimes see people flailing. It's not unusual to have like spittle flying and frothing in the mouth. It's not a joke. This actually does and can happen. Now, the key thing to realize is an abreaction is not a problem. It's a problem if it doesn't fit the context that you're in. For example, you're in a party, you're going to the whole happy chicken thing. Instead of having a happy chicken, you get a very sad, angry chicken. You don't want to go down that road, right? Exactly. So if it's part of the therapeutic work you're doing, which I'll show you how to deal with during the regression, it's appropriate, it's fine. And I'll show you how to deal with it in terms of how to release the energy from that to free the person from the tyranny of what was bottled up inside. But what happens if you're not ready for it? This is not the place to do it. You know, you're doing a demo in front of little old ladies, and one of them starts, acting out the scene from The Exorcist. And you're going, okay, this might not be the right place to be doing this sort of work. Or what if someone comes into you for a light little thing, like nail biting or stop smoking, but then it turns out that they've been abused as a child, and they haven't given you permission to deal with this. You always have to get permission for what you're doing, right? So they're freaking out, and you're going, well, I want to freak out too. There'll be two of us abreacting. Not good, right? So how do you deal with an abreaction when it's not appropriate to deal with it in terms of releasing the emotions? That'd be something worth thinking about. Well, number one, and most important of all, stay calm. Because you're the hypnotist. You're in control. And if you're freaking out, how do you think it's going to affect their abreaction? Like, oh my God, what are you doing? I don't know. I don't know. Right? That's how you cause mass hysteria. That's not a good place to go down. Right? So stay calm. Realize that an abreaction is totally natural. It's totally normal. Even if it's been triggered by accident, it's still a natural, normal phenomenon. And you have things you can do about it to get them out of it. Do not touch the person whilst they're in an abreactive state, whilst they're having their little session. Do not touch them. Any ideas why? You create a trigger. So if you're touching someone, let's say, and this is something some more, shall we say, tree huggy type people might want to do. They're in pain and going, oh, it's okay, don't worry, they're there. Works fine if you have more of a conscious thing going on to create a filter. But if you don't have that, if they're unconscious, they're in trance, you give them a big hug. Who's the call from? Hello? Here's an abreaction. What the? Mind you, as the abreactor, you can touch, okay? So don't touch them because, you know, let's say you give them a big hug, then, I'll come back to you in a second, maybe, then, you know, 2 weeks later, they're home, the husband's been missing, the wife goes, oh, hello, honey. You know, if you have a fly in the wall, it could be amusing, but, you know, they're playing with people's lives. We're starting again. You had a question, Steve?
Yeah, what if you've already created an anchor for relaxation? Like I tap on hands a lot when I'm in session. And, you know.
See, now it's working again. This whole psychic thing, thank you very much. Mm-hmm. So, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure you pack the experience away safely. So you're calm, you're making sure you don't touch them, and now you say the scene ends, the scene fades, the experience ends. Okay? And then you bring them back to your place of safety. Remember your boiler plates? That's one of the first things you do before you do any kind of magic, hypno-juju stuff. You say, feel the chair, know you're safe. So, the abreact, you say, I'm being calm, this is no big deal. You don't touch them, hands well away. Then you say, the scene fades, place of safety. Feel the chair, know you're safe. Feel the chair, know you're safe. The scene fades, feel the chair, know you're safe. Simple, right? So, someone starts going, woo, all weird on you. You do what? Stay calm, right? Do you stay calm? That's a little bit, you're being a bit too calm here, I think. You stay calm, but not that calm. So the first thing you do is you stay calm, right? What's the next thing you do? Or you don't? You don't touch, that's right. Then what do you say? The scene fades. Followed up by? Okay, I feel really safe right now. Let's try that again, shall we? What's the first you do? Someone abreacts. What do you do? Okay, this is working for me now. What don't you do? Then what happens? And then what do you say? Feel the chair, know you're safe. Remember, the chair is the trigger for feeling safety, right? Feel the chair, know you're safe. So, you have a client. Maybe you work with someone in here, and somehow you mention, you know, killer whales, and shock horror, they happen to have a phobia. So they start acting out, freaking out. What do you do? Stay calm. What about you guys? What do you do? They're not sure about it. You guys are? Stay calm. And you guys are? Stay calm. They're still a little better. So you guys do what? Stay calm. And you guys do what? Stay calm. Woo! Okay, I'm feeling it now. What don't you do? Don't touch. Then what happens? And then? Okay. So, you know, the weeks roll by, we get into some more intensive patterns, and suddenly you say something or do something, and someone starts going, "Wah!" Froth starts coming out of their mouth, steam comes out of their ears. What do you do? Stay calm. What don't you do? Don't touch. Then what happens? And then? Whew, you start calming right down, and you're going, okay, I can deal with this. But of course, there's always the outside world, because you'll be leaving out here, and maybe tonight or tomorrow night, one of these guys in here said, what funky thing's going on in that room there? And you'll say, oh, I'm a hypnotist, I'll show you. You go, great. You slam them in trance, everything goes well, but suddenly, for no apparent reason at all, they start freaking out. The exorcist is nothing compared to what you're witnessing. What do you do? Stay calm. What happens next? Don't touch. What do you say? Then what happens? Feel the chair. And they bliss out, beautiful, breathing regulates, and then you bring them right back out and go, whew, wasn't that better? And they go, yeah, that's great. But then, of course, at some point this weekend, you're going to go home, and on the plane maybe, or on the drive home, you're going to stop off, and some bum is going to go, hey, let's go in the train, can I come in with the car with you? And you're going to do a little bit of hypno-juju magic with them, and it all goes great until you say the magic crazy word, and they go nuts. And what do you do? Stay calm. What don't you do? Don't touch. What happens next? Then what do you say? I'm starting to feel it now. Go ahead.
Yes. Do you often find that when people do have abreactions, you say it happens very seldom, but will they remember that and have negative associations with the session?
Great question. I'd say in my experience it's been kind of half and half. Some people have no idea it's happened. Other people know that something's happened but they're not quite sure what it is. And you can't tell them. Even if you know something, do not tell them because the unconscious mind is protecting them for a reason, right? So at the end of this whole process here, as you're taking them out, I would normally put in some language about forgetting what they need to forget so it's all okay, and remembering whatever they need to remember, right? So when they come back, you say, hey, you don't actually mention it, and they go, what was that all about? And you go, oh, it appears that there might be something there for you to look after at some time or to take care of at some point. I can help you do that if you like. But you don't tell them what they said, you don't tell them what happened, because otherwise you're going to end up uncovering material that they're not ready to uncover yet, right? Just in case it does happen though, what do you do? Then what happens? What do you say? And? Whew, they breathe a sigh of relief, then you bring them right back out, you end the session there. Because of course, you're going to create a brand new trance experience if you're going to do anything else. Brand new trance experience with all different kinds of associations to that particular one. Go ahead, Rashid.
I was just going to make comment, you're screwed if you were standing up and doing the session, and so feel the chair wouldn't have anything, so it's important to make sure you put the safety thing in there.
This exactly. The boilerplates, you use the appropriate boilerplate. This happens, that's why you put boilerplates in, by the way. You use the appropriate boilerplate for the situation. If they're standing, it's kind of weird doing the whole thing, feeling the chair on your back, and you're safe. It's like, what chair? I'm standing. Then you say, feel the pressure against your feet, you're safe, right? But to be honest with you, you won't be doing that much standing stuff that's likely to have this sort of thing happen. Up front here. The running man.
Can abreactions be more subtle?
On?
Can abreactions be more subtle?
Well, then it's not an abreaction. An abreaction is like something you will not miss.
Okay.
You will not miss it. You can definitely have a little bit of sadness, a little bit of tearing, an emotion coming through, and that's fine. If it's a more mild emotion, typically I'll just let it happen. I'll let it run its course. A little bit of crying, so it seems like something's, just let it out. That's fine. Let it all drain away. That's fine. And eventually, after a minute or two, it fades away, and you go, isn't that better? And you go, yeah, great. And then you finish the session, and if they want to tell you about it, the chances they will tell you about it. And if not, don't inquire after it. You don't need to know. Does that make sense to you? So it's technically not an abreaction. You don't need to do any of this stuff. You can just literally, it's almost like someone's got a blister and it's popped and all that stuff's coming out, but it's a minor thing. An abreaction is much more like a big fat cyst. Stand back, get the goggles out, because you're going to go blind otherwise. Does that answer your question? Back there, Robin? Just pass on back.
Supposing you found yourself in a situation where you were trying to get a client to calm down, get them to imagine a time when they were, say, 7 years old. It just so happened that at 7 years old, something really traumatic happened to them.
Yep.
And stuff.
What do you do, first of all? Then what do you do? What do you say? Then what happens? Then what do you do? Bring him out. Does that answer your question?
Not exactly.
Okay. I was just checking, just in case.
No, because there might be times when, depending on the reaction is too strong just to do that.
Oh, really? Well, if that happens, you just... Then you? Oh, come on, guys. He's saying it's a really strong reaction here. So we're going to have to help him on this one. What do you do? That's much better. What happens next? What do you say? But they're going like, oh, I can still see them, they're beating me. What do you say? I don't know about this. What do you say? What do you say next? And it's like going, okay, I feel a little bit better, but I'm still scared. What do you say? And what do you say next? Come on, a little bit of conviction here. This poor boy's like 7 years old and he's freaking out. What do you say? And then? And it starts coming down saying, I'm almost together, I'm almost back again. So just to be sure, what do you say? And? Oh, okay, that's so much better. I'm feeling like I'm back here again and it's much better. So what do you say, just be sure? The scene has faded, they've already gone. And then what do you do? Alright, that's not really convincing on that one. What do you do? Okay, I can feel the love now. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Sure about that? I'm not entirely sure he's convinced. So let's imagine someone is abreacting. What do you do? What do you do? Then what do you say? What happens next? It's starting to work a little bit, but they're not quite there yet. What do you do? What happens next? Okay, the scene's faded, they're back in the present, so they're still coming down. What do you say? Oh, that's so much better. What do you do? Yeah. I could dig that. Any other question back there?
I'm just curious. I've had an experience with a friend where suddenly out of nowhere, not doing hypnosis, just kind of somebody enters kind of a panic attack, full-blown anxiety state. It seems like I handled it very badly, but it seems like this same protocol, even if we weren't doing hypnosis and had nothing to do with me, you can still help somebody who's in a self-induced abreaction of sorts by doing this.
Now, the only thing is, if you haven't actually created a place of safety already, instead of doing that, what can you do? The simple thing is use a biological function. Breathing tends to be a very calming thing, so the classic one is, and you know this one, attend to your breathing. Exactly. Or feel your breath, you're safe. Always attach safety to that. Notice, feel your breathing, know you're safe. Feel your breathing, know you're safe. So let's say you are actually out on a hot date with some foxy male or female, depending on whatever your tipple is, and they come across, see a kid eating ice cream, and they go, ice cream, oh my God, and froth comes out their mouth, steam comes out their ears, they start freaking out. What do you do? What don't you do? What do you say? No, come on, with some conviction. What do you say? Now this time you have no safety creation because it's just whilst having a walk, so what do you do instead? No, you're safe. And then what happens? Well, they're out anyway. Does that answer your question? Go ahead, Rashid.
Well, the question comes up in the scenario that was just the question that just came up.
Is it on? There you go. It's on.
Yeah, it's on. In the scenario that was just painted, where it's nothing to do with hypnosis, that third step, where the scene fades, how would you fade the scene if somebody?
I actually would try just saying that straight out, because obviously if something's happening, or if that's not working, you say the experience fades, or it's fading now.
Or you could have them visualizing something else, I guess, maybe?
Sure, you can do anything you want.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get the quickest way to end it.
Okay.
And you say, focus, the experience is fading. It's fading. It's going, 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 gone. Sold to the man with a big hat. Right? Actually, the man with a big hat's over there. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Well, I actually caused someone to have an abreaction,
Okay.
which was quite shocking. I was doing some pain management, and the gentleman happened to be Jewish and spoke Yiddish. And as I was doing it, he started to speak Yiddish to me.
Okay.
I switched to German, which I speak, which was not a good idea.
I can imagine. Yes.
He immediately was in a concentration camp. I was very blonde at the time. And I didn't freak out because I'm used to working with panic, but I honestly don't know what I did to calm him down. I know I spoke very gently, but you can do it when you least expect it, and I did not expect it.
The point of abreactions is you don't plan for them unless you actually go after one, in which case you were doing stuff anyway. So if you were confronted with the same sort of gentleman as, is it Deborah?
Yes.
As Deborah had, do you know what you do? What do you do next? What do you say? Come on, we'll do with a bit of love. What do you say? And what do you say? Now this is a big experience, so this may not have taken care of it all. What do you say? And then? They calm right down. What do you do? Phew, thank you for the question. That's, I think, important for them. Go ahead, Constance.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, the idea being that what I do sometimes is I separate them from the experience, like I say, oh, they're having a bad day, aren't they? This person over here, you're safe, you're over here. This isn't that.
That's a classic dissociation. And that works great if you're doing the actual change work to actually release the emotion. I'm just talking about if you have an abreaction that does not fit the context, it's how to pack it away without adding more fuel to that fire. But I think it's a great therapeutic technique. But just in case, let's make sure that we've all got it. Let's say that it isn't appropriate for whatever reason, and the person comes in. What do you do?
Stay calm.
What do you do?
Don't touch.
Then what happens?
Scene phase.
And then?
Feel the chair.
And what do you do then? I think they might have it. What do you reckon? Oh, he's not quite sure about it. So, let's say Mark in the back there, he freaks out because he's not quite sure you could help him. So what do you do? What happens next? What do you say? What happens next? Oh, that's so much better. Now what do you do? Does anyone get the idea that this might be important? Do you know what to do now? Yes. All right, I'm not concerned about that. You really have to convince me on this one, boys and girls. What do you do? Then what happens? What did you say next? Then what happens? Whew. What do you do? You sure you got that? Oh, I'm not convinced by that. Come on. Yes, maybe. I don't know. Oh. Okay, what do you do? What do you do? Next, what happens? Then what do you say? Oh my God, it's not working. What do you say? Then what happens? So much better, but I'm not quite there yet. What do you say? Then what happens? Whew, thank God for that. I'm glad you are around. What do you do now? You think you got that? Yes! Now I believe you. Just... Okay, folks, so... You now understand the basic anatomy of a session, the structure of it. You have the language for it. And you know what to do when things go awry. The two big things that could go wrong are, number one, they don't want to come back out. You have solutions for that, right? Number two, they start freaking out, an abreaction. And you have a solution for that, right? Yeah. Oh, come on. What do you do? What happens next? What do you say? Then what happens? Then what do you do? Okay, so you have something to deal with an abreaction in case it happens? Yeah.